Hi, my name is Elizabeth Bird, and in this brief video, I'm going to show you how you can reduce risk and improve compliance with Novell's Privileged User Manager. How do you deal with the problem of root or super user access? Root is the default Linux and Unix account, which has access to all commands and files on the server and is sometimes known as a super user. The root account is required to administer and manage servers, so it's imperative that we control and audit access to this and similar accounts. Now, depending on how many Linux and Unix servers your organization has, this can be a big issue. So with that being said, how does your organization control access to the root account or similar accounts? There are a couple key principles that we need to understand. First, we don't want to give people access to this account, or in other words, we don't want to give them password to root. In this example, I'll give the root account the extremely simple password super. Now, if I did give this password out, what becomes the problem? We don't know who is doing what on the servers because administrators are sharing and they have full access to the root account. This of course removes personal accountability and widens your organization's risk of attack and or abuse. What we want is to have people use their own account. In this case, we've used the example of Justin, but we are not going to give him access or the same rights as root. Instead, we will allow our administrators to assume super privileges. But we're going to do it in a way that will only give them access that they need, but also to let us log in to what our administrator is doing. Going even further, we don't have to give an administrator full access to a privileged account. We can lock down what they can do. So as you can see, we are not controlling access to the root account. Instead, we remove the need to use and access the root account. The process is often known as root delegation. We can granularly determine what specific privileges as an administrator that they have. So instead of giving someone a huge account with too much power, we can allow you to use the root account but only narrow purposes. And we can do so across many systems with central management and complete failover and load balancing so that you don't even have to worry about the downtime. So exactly how does this work? Well, let's take a look. On each operating system, we will install an agent, and if you wanted, these could even be Linux workstations. In the data center, we will have a server that will hold organization configuration. Inside that configuration will be the privileged accounts such as root or similar accounts. I'm also going to define the people who can assume these accounts. Then I can build a simple relationship between the accounts and users. In this case, Justin can assume root. This is where I will also define the location, time, and usage restriction for my users. It is very simple to control this access. Now that the agent sits between the user and the operating system, when Justin attempts to make a change on the server, such as backing up a database, turning on a service, or whatever the case may be, the typed commands are intercepted and they are actually sent to a central authorization database for approval. At that time, many conditions are checked, such as who is allowed, what the user can do, when they can do it, where they can do it from, and also how they do it. If authorized, the command is remotely executed on the target machine under a privileged account's credentials, such as root, and everything is logged and audited so that we can prove compliance. So in summary, Novell's Privileged User Manager allows organizations to do the following: granularly control user access to root accounts, audit all user or group activity with comprehensive keystroke logging. Privileged User Manager will also sift through mountains of log data to identify those activities that pose the greatest risk to the organization. It will simplify audit reporting by injecting information about the context of the event, which will help managers identify the activity that will pose the greatest risk and is most relevant to them. And finally, it supports compliance with both internal policies and external regulations, such as PCI-DSS, Sarbanes-Oxley, and others. Let's take a quick look at other customers who have chosen Novell Privileged User Manager as a solution in their organization. Several respected organizations have found success in migrating their existing Privileged User Management solutions over to Novell Privileged User Manager. By migrating over 4,500 Unix servers from Pasco Quest to Novell Privileged User Manager, Barclays was able to simplify their Privileged User Management administration to make more effective use of their internal resources, while improving performance and scalability. At ING, Power Broker was not providing reports required by external auditors. It was constantly failing over and it was difficult to maintain. By switching to Novell Privileged User Manager, ING reduced their policy complexity by over 70%, and that satisfied their compliance reporting requirements as well. Thank Thank you for taking the time today to watch this video to learn how Novell Privileged User Manager has been helping organizations to reduce risk and prove compliance.